All right.
All right, all right, all right.
We gather here today with our hearts heavy and
Blonde.
our heads blonde. Yes. As we pay respects to truly maybe the greatest to ever do it.
Don't say that around a One Piece fan. They might go feral.
Oh no, the numbers are there. DBZ's bigger than One Piece.
Don't tell that to a One Piece fan. Like, even if you're right. Because I've been seeing all over Twitter, the One Piece fans are, like, incessant. It's becoming, like, My Hero levels of annoying.
Oh wait, we're doing the intro here.
Sorry.
Good lord, have some decorum.
Yeah, you know me.
No, this episode is in remembrance of
Akira Toriyama.
Akira Toriyama,
The mangaka.
the guy,
The guy.
the one that did it.
Nobody was doing transformations like him. Nobody. He spent, like, whole, like, 3 chapters hyping that thing up. It was great.
Yeah, so we're talking Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball
Z
Super.
Kai.
Yeah, Dragon Ball Z. Kai.
Dragon Ball GT?
Sure.
Sure. Ooh.
So where did you start with all of this?
Oh, you mean with Dragon Ball?
Yeah.
So I had already been watching anime at the time, and I didn't start watching Dragon Ball until Dragon Ball Z came out, or Dragon Ball Z Kai came out on Nicktoons in 2011. My brother started watching it, and I was like, oh, dang. Because I'd always seen it, but I never watched it.
Dragon
before.
Ball Z Kai on Nicktoons?
Yeah, they used to show it on there. That's where they started showing it, because they had trailers for it and everything. They were like, Dragon Ball Z Kai coming soon, and it showed on there, like, all the time.
That's
It wasn't-
crazy.
Yeah, because there was Nickelodeon and there was Nicktoons, and Nicktoons had all the cooler stuff.
Oh,
Yeah, because, like, the later seasons of Avatar was on Nicktoons as well.
yeah.
But I started with Z Kai, and I'd never seen all of Dragon Ball, but I'd seen all of Z Kai. But apparently a bunch of stuff was cut out. I didn't know that. So later on, when I was about, like, 13, 14, I watched through all of Dragon Ball, and I'm like, this is amazing. Then I watched all of Dragon Ball Z, and I'm like, this is amazing. That's pretty much where I started. But you probably started as it was coming out, because you're like, what, 86?
I did it the right way.
The right way. Okay.
No,
That was
I
the
was
only way, Nick.
I was the target audience for this shit. When some cigar chomping American businessman was in Japan in like 1990, 91, he was just like, the American kids love this shit. Like, and when he said that, when he was like, these kids, they love all this Japanese cartoon shit. They like games.
They used to call it, Japanime? Is that what they used to call it?
Japanimation.
I heard they call it back in the day.
Yeah, no, I never heard that, but I heard Japanimation was a thing that word stuck around until I was in about middle school.
So, like, 1943?
But yeah, but Dragon Ball, OG Dragon Ball, because as listeners of the show will know, I had a brother that was 7 years older than me. OG Dragon Ball is like one of the first like 4 or 5 things I ever remember seeing on a television screen.
Really?
Yeah.
Dang.
It's like literally like it's in there before Sesame Street.
I think mine was like Star Wars.
Like it was Dragon Ball, Vampire Hunter D,
What the heck? Your
Sailor
parents into anime?
Moon, Vampire Hunter D. You know what's crazy is my first time watching that, it was on there was like a movie channel that came on that was between Stars and Showtime. It was called
Spike?
Encore.
Encore.
Encore. It was like, this is like back when people used to pay. That's back when you used to watch like the weird squiggly lines on your TV, and sometimes you'd see porn in the squiggly lines.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
This is the most millennial Zoomer divide convo ever. Yes, there used to be.
It's old.
There used to be ephemeral channels that looked like swirling tempest of quantum foam, and every now and then you would hallucinate seeing like a titty or an ass in them.
Yeah, see, in my generation, you just open your phone.
Because you had to pay for the porn channels, and they sent you the whole. You when you bought TV back then for pay-per-views, they would scramble the signal because they didn't have a way of like stopping them from sending the whole TV signal. So they would like scramble your signal, and you had to pay to get it unscrambled. It's so weird, man. It's
Dragon Ball.
Anyway, Encore used to play anime. they played shit like Goku Eye, Biohunter, and fucking Vampire Hunter D.
Yeah.
And but I remember coming off of that, me and my brother watching Dragon Ball OG, and that shit was
It was really good.
fire.
Look, I've been saying this for years. Me and my roommate Brian both agree. Dragon Ball is better than Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah,
At least I enjoyed it more than Dragon Ball Z.
I mean, it's got better bones.
It's not that Dragon Ball Z is bad. Dragon Ball is just better.
Dragon Ball Z, and I think this gets lost in it, is one of the most like insanely creative things ever. Whereas Dragon Ball is kind of a retelling of, Journey to the West and all that.
No idea what that is.
Really?
Nick, I'm 23.
Yeah, but this book's like 1,000. This book's literally like 2,000 years old.
That's probably why you read it.
It's like you know how like the original
The Iliad.
Greek novel is the Iliad and the Odyssey with Homer.
Yeah.
China, the Asian version of that is this book called Journey to the West, and it's about like the monkey god. I think his name is Enki or Goku.
Oh, you're talking about
and he
Wukong.
I don't. The point is, there's like a 2,000 or 3,000 year old Chinese manuscript that is like the story of a monkey god having to travel to the West for some reason.
Wukong.
And that is the story Dragon Ball is loose. It's basically based off of like a Hindu text.
I mean, that makes sense though, because there's a lot of like some of the best storytellers that we know in our time have taken so much from like modern lore within their culture, right, to integrate that into what they're telling stories for. I mean, George Lucas did it. Who was it? George R. Martin.
J.R.R. Tolkien.
He did it, right? So it's no surprise that someone like Akira Toriyama would take from, I'm guessing, beloved folklore story, Journey to the West.
Like Mr. Popo's, like people think he's supposed to be black. Mr. Popo's like a genie.
Did you see the nigga on Twitter trying to say? He's like, see, this is the worst depiction of black people ever is Mr. Popo, and everybody was cooking him, bro.
Yeah.
Like, saying something like that and having pictures of yourself online, stupid.
Yeah, but Mr. Popo's actually, like, he's supposed to be, like, a Hindu genie type thing. Like, he's...
It's I mean, I think the amount of things that Akira Toriyama was able to fit into the story.
But like Goku, the monkey god,
right.
the power pole, like there's a reason why
Nimbus?
The Nimbus cloud, like there's a reason the monkey god shows up in Naruto when the third Hokage summons him. Yeah, they love their monkey gods over there. They're clever monkey gods. But fucking Dragon Ball though is great. It holds up even. It's cute and it's got the culture.
Hold on. Culturally it might not, but story-wise, yeah. There's a few scenes in Dragon Ball that I know for a fact if somebody had like an anime that had those same scenes, it'd be canceled in like 5 seconds by the Twitter Karens. I'm telling you.
I don't know. We
got
some
first
pretty
episode.
Yeah.
This chick Bulma shows her coochie to I'm assuming a 7-year-old to bribe him.
She's flashing that kitty cat.
Yeah, I don't think that scene would have flied.
No, it would have. We could have tolerated. Are you saying you couldn't tolerate that?
I wouldn't have cared, Nick, but we both know the people who wouldn't be able to tolerate it. And the amount of it'd be like cancel Dragon Ball would be trending.
Nah, we gotta.
Nick, I feel like you're way too
surrendering
naive.
to them in your mind.
It's not that I'm surrendering, Nick. I'm just not stupid.
No, we gotta. Bulma.
It is naive to believe
you have to stand
Nick,
Bulma.
because we see this happen all the time. People will bring up stuff from the 90s, like the 80s, right? Like culturally, things were the same as they are now. And people be like, "See, why would they do this thing that was culturally okay back in this time, but it's not now?" And it's like. Yeah, if that same thing happened today, I'm telling you for a fact, Nick. Like, I don't care. I'm standing on this.
But
I know for a fact.
Flashing your coochie in a world of like turtle men and like talking dog people, it's different.
Nick,
it's a different world.
Nick, you know what?
That's currency over there.
You know what, Nick? It's fine. You know, you're like 63. You don't interact with these people in real life. It's okay. I do. These people are real.
I will say the fact that when Bulma meets Master Roshi. I had memory hold this whole experience into him.
Yeah, you talked about this the other day. I was like...
I had memory hold it into being Master Roshi being like, oh, you want like the 4-star Dragon Ball, you show me your titties. And he's like, no, like, I want to show me where you pee, girl. And I'm like, that's like way worse. Like, Master Roshi is a pervert.
So you're telling me that scene would fly today?
Yeah. No, we would yassify Bulma for that scene.
Oh my gosh!
Give her swinging hips,
but I think
and maybe some tattoos.
I think one of the coolest things that Akira Toriyama did, especially with Bulma's character, is he literally made one of the smartest, most powerful characters on the planet, like a 16-year-old teenage girl who's boy crazy. That's freaking.
He downplayed her privilege. He was like, she's like a billionaire, and like her dad is Einstein.
But I'm not talking about that. I'm just talking about the fact that she was still intelligent despite all those things, and like the fact that one of the most intelligent people on the planet was Bulma. It's freaking cool.
What does it say that he's like? If you're a smart lady, you'll know the price of that kitty cat. And,
oh my gosh!
And it is in fact 1/7 of the capacity to
change the world,
to get immortality.
Yeah, but I think one of the coolest things that Dragon Ball, at least the original, did that I think a lot of shonen anime don't know how to do correctly is scaling the powers of the main character to realistically show growth, right? Because the point that Goku gets to in like the newer part of the show versus like in the original Dragon Ball is like it's scalable. It's like, okay, you slowly see him get stronger. There's a point where him and Krillin are kind of on par, and there's a point where Master Roshi dresses up as like what's his name, like Jackie Chun or something like that.
No, Jackie Chun was the ghost of Gohan.
No. In the tournament.
Oh wait, yeah, no, that was
Master Roshi.
Yeah, no.
Where he beat the brakes off Goku, and like you see that point where he's like, dang, Goku can't beat Master Roshi, and then post Piccolo arc. This man is probably stronger than Master Roshi, right? But you see the point, you see all the training that he does, all the things he has to do to get to that point where it's like, okay, this seems realistic. But nowadays in a lot of modern shonen, niggas just are strong just cause.
Well, yeah, it's like, who's that one guy? The guy who kicks the pole and throws it and jumps on it to fly out of scenes.
He's
the Red Ribbon Army's like top guy.
He's their top nigga. Yeah.
He's top dude.
That Red Ribbon Army arc is probably one of my favorite arcs in anime. Like top 5 at least.
When Goku fights Oolong the first time, and Oolong transforms into a giant robot.
Cyborg.
I was like...
Cyborg. More cyborg.
He's not like a human robot hybrid. He's a giant robot.
Giant robot?
He's a giant robot. He's an automaton.
I think it's debatable. Conjecture. But anyways, yes, he does turn into a giant robot. It's freaking awesome.
Yeah, I was like, as a little boy, that literally at like 5-year-old Nick was like, this is fantastic.
No, literally, it was like so cool because it was like he was fighting. Like all that took like a day and a half. But it was like 20 episodes of him just going through that. But it's like, it wasn't boring in any of the episodes. You know what I mean?
TV just had like a weird stranglehold on it. It's interesting now to like kind of officially be in the post-TV era where, you know, we think about it as like, oh, the format of human history. But it really is like, wow, TV had like, almost didn't even make it 100 years, you know? Like books.
Books are still
Books are still here. Comic books, even pictures. Pictures have been going for 10,000 years strong.
Television lasted like about.
It's like 100
up
years?
until I'll say like 2016 is where it really started like going down. People, you would ask people like, do you want like? I had not watched cable TV. I have not watched cable TV since like 2012, maybe.
When Game of Thrones ended, that was the last thing that you could expect the average person to have watched off rip. Where you could just be like, yo, did you catch that episode the other night? Because it used to be like that for everything. Like, you used to, like, I'm not like 100 years old or anything, but in like the early 2000s, you did just used to be able to be like, yo, did you see Simpsons the other night? And someone will be like, they drove a dump truck of money up to my house. I'm not like, we all were watching the same shit. South Park was like that too. You could literally go up to someone and just be like, did you catch South Park last night?
South
and they
Park
knew you were talking about.
South Park is still kind of like that though.
South Park fans don't realize that everyone else stopped though. South Park fans are kind of like, there's people who still think everyone's watching Family Guy every Sunday.
Dude, I haven't watched Family Guy in a hot minute.
I know, but there's some stragglers in there who think that they're like, yeah, man, did you see the new app? They'll just say it like that.
Right.
They're like, you see the
But
new app?
regardless, I think the effect that the bones of Dragon Ball laid down for like modern anime and manga, you can see it all over the place, right?
Yeah, I mean, it took what Fist of the North Star and JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
Yeah, because there was an anime for that back in the 80s. I forgot.
It took the groundwork that they laid.
Of just like buff niggas going back and forth. Yeah.
Yeah, like honestly, Goku v Kenshiro would be a fun fight up until you get to Dragon Ball Z, and then we all know how that shit would go down.
It'd be pretty fast.
It'd be...
Yeah. I think that one thing that people underestimate, or not underestimate, one thing that people forget is like pre-Dragon Ball Super, Goku was a pretty well-written character for the most part in his own show.
In Dragon Ball, Goku...
I think in Dragon Ball Z he was as well.
Dragon Ball Z is... we got to get into that.
Well, I literally watched through it recently the past like 7 months. So
all of it?
I got to Cell Arc.
I mean,
I'm still watching it. But
unofficial ending part 1.
I went through a good amount of it, right? So this is all fresh in my brain.
So it's like, so Dragon Ball ends. The last bits of Dragon Ball, we see
like
teenage Goku
fighting Piccolo, or the reincarnated Piccolo.
Yeah, and they're both like teen boys. That's the first time that we see the $20 billion design, you know, like where it's like, this will be the face that
Goku
launches
for the 30-something years.
1,000 Tenkaichi Budokai
Well, it's
Wii
funny
games.
because when they introduced him, because he's like spent a year in the hyperbolic time chamber, I think, when he was training with Kami. And then when he came back, nobody recognized him. Like at the beginning of the tournament, they were like, "Where's Goku at?" And then you see this random tall nigga. You're just like, "What the heck?" He's like, "Oh yeah, I'm Goku." You're like, "Who the heck is this?" that was a funny scene. I always thought the scene was hilarious.
Yeah, like I'm trying to think here. What's another anime that like? Oh, is it Made in Abyss? Is the only one I can think about that's doing this like cute little chibi shit, but like serious kind of adventures. There's other ones, I'm sure. There's that one about a girl's last tour. I think it's called. I think it's like those 4 girls who have a tank and they're trying to get to their 5th friend who's in the North Pole. And
I have no idea about.
I think it's called
any
Girls.
of this.
There's a couple of these chibi ass animes, but there's not. Dragon Ball kind of sneaks it in because you look at Goku and Krillin and you're like, these niggas are straight chibi.
They're midgets.
Gundams would call these guys super deformed. But and then it's like, you know, kind of a weirdly compelling story the first time. And when you see Goku ice Piccolo the first time, you are like,
Bro,
wow.
No, because you want him to ice Piccolo because it's like they build that up so perfectly, right? Because the tournament's happening. Him and Krillin are like best friends. You're like, dog, I love Krillin, love Goku. Those are my dogs. Krillin gets killed.
I know.
Krillin gets yeeted. Goku tries to like help. He's too weak. He literally is too weak to protect his friend. And then you see all the training that he does to get to the point where he can fight Piccolo. And then when he finally kills him, you're like, nigga, let's go.
Piccolo lays that mouth egg.
Yeah.
Horrifying. The idea of a man giving birth like that?
Nah.
No, I feel like if dudes are going to give birth, we should make it cool. You know?
You gotta make it. It's not alpha to give birth with like an egg coming out your mouth. You gotta, like,
no.
You gotta like punch someone in the face and then the egg come out of your fist. Is that
It's
what
got to come out your wiener, dude.
Like what? Like a kidney stone?
Like think of the Cell Saga, but in reverse.
Ugh.
Yeah.
No, but
we'll get to that.
Yeah, I think that the groundwork that Dragon Ball laid, it was a lot more satisfying for people who are around for Dragon Ball to see Dragon Ball Z.
It's
and
like
everything that came to fruition.
It's like being there when the Harry Potter books or something came out, where it's like
dang, nigga, you're old.
I'm just like, I feel happy that I was the Harry Potter books are way younger. Harry Potter 1 came out in like 99. They're not that old. They're old now.
I wasn't talking about the books, Nick.
Oh. Wait, what? The Harry Potter comic book?
I'm saying you were old.
Yeah, but I do feel lucky to have been, because then we get to Dragon Ball Z, and
can we just talk about how crazy the tone and story shift was coming from Dragon Ball to Dragon Ball Z. Yeah, now this nigga's an alien. He has a brother, and his brother kidnapped his son so he could destroy the world. And there's 2 more Saiyans coming to destroy the world as well, and you died.
It was on every level. I don't even think we got how like Sonic the Hedgehog smoking a cigarette being like, I don't give a damn what Dragon Ball Z was. It was straight X Games shit. Like when you think about like Dragon Ball was like, come on, ride with me. We're gonna get that Dragon Ball.
Dragon Ball Z was like
Chinese iconography and like, and then Dragon Ball Z was like, and it,
bro,
that riff.
I freaking love that riff.
That fucking new metal corn fucking ass riff. What was Akira Toriyama? Was that like his nose ring and fucking opening up the pit era?
That was like going from like independent indie rock to heavy metal.
It was.
That's kind of what happened. I mean, but it was cool though. Like it was like you see in like one arc from Goku dying to when he comes back to fight the 2 Saiyans, Nappa and Vegeta. His build and the art style in which Toriyama was drawing in changes like that. Right? Like the muscularity that and the amount of detail that he has in the musculature of each character becomes like extremely well done, like within like an arc.
The goofiness of Dragon Ball is like
It's still there a little bit.
Yeah, but it like it was it is so hard to put into words how much of a switch up it is that it's like this nigga's an alien. And it was like, what? And it's like, I'm his brother.
I mean, people always had questions about like why this nigga had a tail and he could transform into a giant monkey. But it's like they just assume it was like, oh, it's magic.
I thought he was like a reincarnation of a monkey god or something. I thought that was like I didn't think this when I was like 8 years old. Duh. You fucking assholes. But like I'm saying as an adult looking back, you really, it's like there's nothing in Dragon Ball that makes Goku, it's like it's a magical world. There's like dragon people. There's literally like lizard men delivering milk and shit.
That is true. Yeah, the world of Dragon Ball itself is like kind of crazy because it's like people who are like usually like you have talking tigers and stuff like that. You're kind of just like, what the heck? Like, so I guess it is fair to kind of assume that that's kind of a normal thing in that world.
And then just like the weirdness of like how much of this was Toriyama flying by the seat of his pants? Because realistically, looking back on it,
well, there was a lot of chapters.
Raditz being Goku's brother versus Raditz getting to the planet and being like, Goku, you have a brother. And like Raditz is just some random fuckhead saying. And he's like, but Goku, you have a brother. Like, what if Brawly was Goku's brother? Or some weird shit. But it's so funny that Raditz is Goku's brother. And he means nothing.
Yeah.
He means nothing to no one.
Immediately.
Bardock doesn't care what the fuck's happening to that guy.
Bardock's dead.
But I'm saying Bardock's in hell, and he's not looking for Raditz in hell.
Yeah.
He's just like, whatever. Who gives a shit about my stupid
there's
ass
a lot
son?
of characters that kind of get introduced, even in Dragon Ball, where you're like, oh, this character's probably important. No, you never hear about him again. But, yeah, I mean, so the part about Goku's character, right, being a lot more well-written than people realize, I think the point in time in which you really start to realize this is when he comes back from being dead to fight the other Saiyans, right? And you start to realize something about him. And you see this in the Namek arc as well, right? Goku is like the guy. Like, he is him. He is someone who is so powerful that he knows to be kind and to be, like, gentle. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if you're tracking what I'm saying. Like, when he shows up in both of those instances, he starts off like just kind Goku, like how he was in Dragon Ball, right? And it's like it's often said that those who are strong are always kind, right?
Yeah, Goku's like defining feature is
because he's so powerful.
The
he understands how nice he needs to be to like those who are weak.
I think the Goku's defining moment as a character is, doesn't he give like I'm thinking here wrong.
Hold on.
I know he gives one to Cell.
Yeah.
But does Goku give a sensu bean to Vegeta while they're fighting?
Yes.
I know he gives
one.
one.
Fight, I think he does.
Yeah, and I feel like that moment is like
so that's more of him
Goku's
just,
like that moment is where Goku like snaps off so hard from so many other shonen protagonists
you
and
see
stuff
in
and becomes like a
JJK
weirdo.
You see in JJK where they're like, nah, we need to get this nigga at his weakest. And then, like, you see Goku, he's like, I'm going to face you now.
This moment culturally, like, broke Naruto. Because it turned Naruto into, like... You could tell Kishimoto's like, I want Naruto and Sasuke to be, like, super moral characters. And it's like, he's supposed to be a ninja. Ideally, Naruto should be poisoning people. They shouldn't even know that he's targeted them. And it's like, but I feel like Goku set the moral bar so high. Because Luffy's even kind of like a fuckhead. He's like kind of selfish and an asshole in his own sort of way. And what was the other big three at this time? You had Yu-Gi-Oh!, One Piece, and Dragon Ball Z.
Yu Yu Hakusho?
Yu Yu Hakusho. Yusuke's a bad guy.
Yusuke is a bad guy.
Yusuke doesn't even... Yusuke calls his mom a bitch.
In season 1, he's like, yeah, I'll fight anybody. Man, woman, I don't care. I'll fight anyone. I'm like, dang. Yeah, I guess not Yusuke, but
Goku, like, giving Vegeta the Sensu Bean is, like, by all shonen, like, standards at that point, that was, like, a weird thing to do.
Yeah, well, because you see Fist of the North Star, I think it's just popping heads left and right.
Kenshiro would never.
Kenshiro would be like, oh, you dying? That's tough. Yeah, and I think that you can see that mirrored so much in so many different anime of, like, the main protagonist being someone, like, that's so altruistically moral, right?
And
like,
they fuck it up.
You see it with Tanjiro. You see it with Deku.
Yeah, they make him annoying most of the time.
Oh my gosh, Deku's like one of my least favorite main characters.
And I think that even Toriyama, because in the Cell arc when Goku does this, when he gives Cell the Sensu
Niggas
beam,
were pissed.
Piccolo's like,
you fool!
He's like, this isn't a game, dude. This guy's going to murder your son.
He's like,
dude.
And he's literally like, and there's a whole speech where he's like, your son isn't doing this because he likes to fight. He's doing this because he's trying to protect himself. He isn't like you, Goku. He doesn't want to have to fight all the time.
He's worried about Chi-Chi. He's worried about one of these kid cells beating up his mom at home, right. Which you clearly aren't, Goku.
And I think that is also a very important thing because Toriyama also allowed parts of the anime for Goku to be wrong.
Like, not even a little wrong. Very.
To have your main character look like a horrible person. People still don't do stuff like that. You got like Madoka?
Madoka Magica.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not Jin Freaks level, where Jin Freaks is a bad dad. There's no getting around that. Like, Gon finds him and Jin's like, neat. Anyway, back to what Jin Freaks is a terrible. And he's not like Yujiro, because Yujiro's like, ha ha ha, I'm a terrible dad. Whereas Jin Freaks, I think in his head, thinks he's a good dad. He's like, this is making Gon stronger. Yeah. And it's like, no, Jin, you are a dog shit father.
Yeah.
You are Gon was going to be strong anyway. He's friends with Netero, you dumbass. He's friends with Killua.
He didn't care about that kid. Like, honestly, even when he was dying and Leorio had to punch him in the face.
And Goku is interesting because Goku never has this revelatory moment like you have with Yuji or you have with Denji. You have all these moments where it's like, oh, he's a fucking idiot, but actually he's kind of clever in this like secret way.
You do get that. You do get that. As far as fighting goes, he's very clever.
But I'm saying
one of the best to ever do it.
When Goku goes to buy a used car, he buys a fucking Honda Civic with 50,000 miles on for $44,000. He gets fucked in the ass. Goku is a moron.
He's a simple guy.
And they don't ever back down from that. They're like, this guy can practically not wipe his ass. Like, he's an idiot.
But it's weird because they also have some points in time where he's very eloquent. He's speaking very clear, and he's also, like, thinking ahead of other people around him. And you're kind of like, what the heck?
He's good at the things you would expect a fight. Like, Gohan's, like, in the hyperbolic time chamber, like, I'm so angsty! And Goku's like, hey, son, point that anger at something useful. Like, the way that the Federal Reserve raises interest rates, you know? Like, think about it. And then they step out, and they're both Super Saiyan and calm. And he's like, thanks, Dad. You sure taught me a lot about like capital gains tax and who the real enemies are.
But I think all in all, the amount of like seriousness that was in the creation of the characters, even like down to like side characters like Vegeta or Piccolo, or even especially Gohan.
Well,
right?
I feel like we got to go arc by arc on this because it's so weird.
Do we have time to go arc by arc?
It's so weird. Everything that happened, it's like I feel like it's so built into like our DNA that like it's sort of like if an alien came down to Earth and they were just like, wait a minute, so like there's like 8 religions on Earth, but 3 of them are kind of like remixes of like one religion. That's like and it's just like, you guys don't think that's kind of like weird or anything? It's like, no. And it's like, why are all your pants blue? And it's like, not like a
I
particular...
do not track at all what you're trying to say.
I'm saying there's so much weirdness in Dragon Ball that's like swept under the table because we're like, this is just how animes are. And it's like, no, this is Vegeta being like a warmonger who genocides like 5 planets on the way to Goku, and we just get over that.
You know what?
We just
speaking of, there's so much that Toriyama introduced that he never touches on again.
Goku reads Krillin's mind once.
This nigga Vegeta was telepathically interacting with Nappa.
Yeah, like there's...
And they just never talk about it again.
Like, Goku, like, has sex with, like, a cricket woman or something. And it's, like, just never touched upon. Like, there's, like, a slave revolt on a planet of cricket people. Yeah. It's, like, there's so much weirdness. And just, like, the idea of the extended filler, Snake Way is so weird that Toriyama's like, you're in for 1,000,000 miles of filler. And it's, like, you can't just announce that. You can't.
I kind of like that better that way, though. Just so we're not like, it's not like a Naruto situation where you never know what week you're gonna have. You're gonna have filler, and what week you're not gonna have filler. He at least lets you know, like, yeah, it's gonna be some filler. Yeah. Like I remember as Naruto was coming out, you would not know what week it was. If it was a filler week, it'd be like 3-4 weeks. If it wasn't a filler week, it'd be like, okay, you get 2 episodes of canon, then you get like another 3 months of filler. And you're just like, bro.
You know, the falling off Snake Way episode, and then finding the
one chick that was trying to like eat him or something
like
that.
The snake women who are all trying to have sex with Goku, and he has to resist them, and he's got to think about his marriage with Chi-Chi and try to get
they were trying to eat him, I think.
Yeah, Snake Way being 1,000,000 miles is insane.
Nah,
1,000,000 miles to King Kai.
Not that long.
And then he gets there, and he meets a gravity-powered monkey. Batshit. And
I mean, I think the weirdness of Dragon Ball in general kind of like puts you on to what it's probably going to be like, because we already talked about before, like the original Dragon Ball was pretty weird as it is, so all this stuff isn't weird per se for Dragon Ball Z or Dragon Ball. Now for other anime, it probably like as a whole, it's probably like, man, this is kind of odd, but.
And the writing of the fights is so like Yamcha putting himself up there because he's like, you guys have all died before. I'm the only one that can die now. And it's like, it's like, damn, Yamcha, because he sees Nappa, and it's like, that guy just literally ripped a jet in half with his face. Like, it was crazy. He like literally like ate a jet.
The Saiyans going on a spree of like destroying parts of the planet just because before they fought the Z Fighters was freaking hilarious.
And so Yamcha just going into that fight being like, I'm gonna fucking die here, and you're just like, Jesus Christ. Like the whole Yajirobe turning the tide of the fight.
Yajirobe being the one to chop his tail off gotta be the funniest thing of all time, bro.
Krillin slicing Vegeta's back, or Yajirobe slicing Vegeta's back too. Like there was so many, and it's just so funny that Vegeta's just like ah.
So I have a question, right? Do you think that people are now recognizing the influence of Toriyama in his work because he's dead now, or?
Oh yeah, I mean this always happens. Like there's some,
because I started gaining more appreciation as I was like rewatching Dragon Ball Z, and even back when I watched Dragon Ball, I'm like, wow. I like had a lot of apprehensions about the show, but now looking back and watching Dragon Ball Z and watching Dragon Ball, I realize why I dislike Super so much.
Yeah, I have to give Super a try because I watched a bit into Super and I was like a Super hater.
It's not,
but I have to give it a shot out of respect for the man.
It's not bad, but it's not good either. Like the writing for Goku, it's like they forget who Goku is. Like the character of Goku in Dragon Ball Z disappears. The nigga is actually retarded. Like, there's, like, we were talking about he's, like, a simple guy, but even, like, when it comes to fighting, he's, like, pretty intelligible. Like, he knows what no. He's just stupid. He's just dumb.
Yeah. Oh, man. Dude, and then I feel like the Namek arc is actually the craziest arc in Dragon Ball.
I'm saying boo. I'm saying boo arc.
The Namek arc, when you think about it, at the beginning of the Namek arc, Gohan's power level is like what, 1500? Krillin's power level is like 8000.
No, I think Gohan's like 30.
No, at the beginning of the Namek arc.
Yeah.
When they're running from Dodoria and Zarbon.
Yeah.
They're like, oh god, Frieza's got henchmen with power levels of like 20,000. We gotta get the fuck out of here, type shit. Like over the course of Namek, you see Piccolo go from like power level like 10,000 to like 40,000 to him fusing with Nail power level like 2 million.
And he still can't stand up freaking Frieza.
He beats up power level 1 million Frieza, but then he gets
cheeks clapped.
Then Frieza transforms into a xenomorph and fucking. But yeah, we see Goku go from like power level, like he gets to the planet, his power level's like 70,000 or something. It's like enough to beat Captain Ginyu. Then Captain Ginyu kills himself and comes back. Goku comes out of the chamber and his power level's like 3 million. He starts beating up Frieza. Frieza transforms. Goku goes to power level like 5 million and then Super Saiyans and goes up to like 150 million.
Yeah.
Like the growth in Namek is actually like the most like exponential growth in Dragon Ball.
Understand the Zenkai boost thing when it comes to the Saiyans, because even in like the original Dragon Ball, every time Goku would like go through something, he'd just be like 10 times stronger after. You're like, what the heck happened?
Yeah, like turning it into giving it the midichlorian treatment and being like, it's actually part of his Saiyan heritage, and having Vegeta like spamming being like, Krillin, put a hole in my tummy.
This nigga was spamming the Zenkai boost every chance he got, bro.
He was buying gold on WoW on eBay. Like, it's weird. I think the Namek arc might have the worst writing. Oh, next to the Boo arc. The Namek arc has both the highest and
Nick,
some of the lowest.
So, Nick, I'm going to need you to go find a trash can and live in there. That is your new
You
home.
think that?
Namek arc's writing was really good.
Oh, man, there's so many funny things that come up in it.
Out of all the arcs, I would say Namek, narratively, is the most important arc.
Yeah, but it's...
Because that's where Goku becomes someone who recognizes, okay, like, sometimes you gotta become that nigga. Like, you have to become someone whose main goal is to destroy the enemy in front of you. Not because you're having fun, not because, oh yeah, I'm just chilling, doing my thing. No, because this person needs to be destroyed.
I feel like the Namek arc is when Dragon Ball gets the reputation that these fights last forever.
Yeah. I'll give you that.
I think it's like the behavior.
But saying it has the worst writing
no. I think
I've never heard anyone on the planet say that.
No,
Nick.
I think Namek has both the highest moments because you got Krillin's death, which is like a big thing. You got Vegeta joining the team.
Vegeta's death.
You've got Vegeta sacrificing himself. You've got like Piccolo comes back. You've got the fusing with Nail, but you also have just like some of the sillier shit, like. The fact that Namek has 3 suns because Toriyama was like, I don't want to draw night scenes. Too many stars in the sky. It's like a lot of work. So let's make it a planet where it's like sunny all the time. And like, I don't know, the will they won't they of them running into Frieza and stuff. Like the whole cattiness about, and the Ginyu Force, honestly, the Ginyu Force just felt like a weird, You liked the Ginyu Force?
Nick, you are the craziest nigga I've ever met in my life. I want you to say some of these things on Twitter and see how people react. No, I legit want you to say some of these things on Twitter and see how people react.
The Ginyu Force was fun.
Yes.
They were fun.
That's all they were supposed to be. But they're not the big bad. They're the nuisance you get to before the big bad. But I like the concept. I think them as characters were interesting to watch in the seasons they were in, right? They each had their own quirks. They each had their own ways of doing things. Saying that they were like Nick, I have never heard any of these takes in my entire life. You've got to be smoking something.
I felt like once they got past Raccoon, the show, like, it felt like Berta and Jace just got, like, taken out super quick.
Okay, so Nick, I say this because you're my friend. Rewatch Dragon Ball Z up until that point. I'm gonna just say that.
No, like, listen, man.
I'm not
I
gonna
watched
cook
these
you-
episodes
I'm not gonna
100
cook you
times.
I'm not gonna cook you
I've
too hard.
literally seen the Ginyu
I'm
Force
not gonna
episodes
cook you
maybe
too hard.
20 times each.
I'm not gonna cook
Because
you
I watched
too
them
hard.
when they rerun
I'm gonna
them.
give you a chance, Nick.
They
I'm gonna
would
give you a chance.
They would get to the Raccoon episode where Raccoon is beating up Vegeta, and then they would rewind to the beginning of the Namek arc. And so I had to rewatch the Namek arc like 10 times. And I hate Ginyu swapping bodies with Goku. I'm like, this is... we know this isn't going to work out. We know this isn't how it's going to be. And I don't know. I didn't like Captain Ginyu. I think that's what I don't like about it.
I think you're just nitpicking just to nitpick.
Nah, I just didn't like Captain Ginyu, I think. I didn't like Captain Ginyu, and I think the Raccoon fights burnt into my brain because I've had to watch it like 100 times. Though, the scene where Vegeta breaks Raccoon's neck is like...
Bro, because they're like, bro, he's already like about to die. He's
gleefully...
Like, like, Vegeta's like the one person in the Dragon Ball universe that is like legitimately mission focused.
When Vegeta breaks Raccoon's neck, it is like the coldest scene you have seen.
They're like,
in
why
the
would you
show.
do that? He's like, you don't think he wouldn't hesitate to kill you? And I'm like, yeah, he's right.
Yeah, he was like, don't you give him a chance. This isn't a zombie movie. Don't you give him a chance to get back up. It's like so funny. Vegeta's like, die instantly. Fuck. And it's like, he's like so happy about it too. He's not even like, Raccoon, you and I had such a history. He's just like, fuck you. You're done. Out of here.
So, what are your thoughts on some of the stuff they introduced in the Dragon Ball movies? And possibly some of the things that were introduced in GT?
The movies are both like, I mean, I think Tree of Might and Dead Zone might be one of my favorite Dragon Ball pieces of media. I just think the fights in it are badass.
I like the BoJack movie a lot.
Yeah, like, and then there's like, you know, the best Dragon Ball movie is probably the Broly movie.
What about the
Broly 1?
Cooler? Was it Cooler? The Cooler movie was pretty good too.
Cooler and Metal Cooler were both cool, but Broly felt like it was canon.
It wasn't until it was.
I know, and that's what's so weird.
Because there was multiple different Broly movies. I think there was like 3 of them.
Well, there was Broly, Broly Returns, and Bio Broly. Bio Broly is like not really even a Broly movie. It's like it's like a monster movie with Kid Trunks and Kid Goten.
I think Broly Returns was with them, wasn't it?
Yeah, no, the second Broly movie is crazy, and it's got a very cool fight in it. But the first Broly movie is just so...
It's a beatdown. It's hilarious.
It's scary. Like, you actually, for a minute, you're like, I don't know if the Z Fighters are gonna fucking make it out of this one.
Well, 'cause
like,
they don't even beat him in a conventional way. I think what do they do? They throw him into the sun or something like that?
Yeah, Goku hits him with a Kamehameha that like doesn't kill him. The Kamehameha doesn't kill him, but it pushes him into the sun, and the hope is that the sun kills him.
Yeah, the hope is wrong.
Yeah, but that movie has like my favorite Dragon Ball moment probably ever, which is that moment when Trunks is getting Broly is about to come bearing down on Trunks, and Vegeta. He doesn't even like try to save Trunks. He's just like, Trunks, get out of there.
Bro, oh my gosh.
You see Broly grab Vegeta's
This
head,
nigga Trunks
put it into the wall, and
this nigga Trunks was so confident about fighting him just to get mollywopped in like 2 moves.
Trunks has future Trunks is such an interesting character. Coming off of Namek and coming back to Earth, future Trunks has the coolest intro of any character.
He has the coolest character.
He's the coolest character, and it's because all of his instances, he's super cocky. He doesn't fuck around at all. He's either like, this is a pass-fail assessment.
I mean, he's definitely Vegeta's son.
If you are better than me, I'm going to leave and train. And if you're not better than me, I'm going to try to kill you in 1 millisecond. I'm going to try to end this fight as soon as possible. And
yeah, I think one of the funnier scenes was like when this nigga Vegeta was like, go ahead, absorb the androids. I'll still beat you. And then gets his butt handed to him, bro, immediately after.
Yeah, Vegeta has a couple dumb moments in the show, honestly.
Yeah.
But Future Trunks going back
You should see what they did to him in Super.
Future Trunks going back to his homeworld and bearing down on Cell and the androids is it's like one of my favorite scenes.
You know what?
In all of Dragon Ball.
The Trunks movie was really good too. I forgot about that.
Yeah, the history of Trunks. Mm-hmm. That was my brother's favorite Dragon Ball movie.
That movie's pretty good. Dragon Fist is also really good. That's the origin of how Trunks got his sword.
Oh yeah, Kakyoin and all that. Yeah. Wait, Tapion.
Yeah.
Tapion. Kakyoin's
I got
from
the sword. Yeah.
Yeah. God. Seeing androids 6 or 17 and 18 like running for their lives from future Trunks hiding, and he's just funny. He's like, "Where the fuck are you? You killed Gohan." It's such a good. There's so many good characters. You got Piccolo, who is Akira's Toriyama's favorite character.
He's definitely black.
Yeah, and which by proxy makes Gohan like half black. Because Gohan, like, it's so cool that Gohan's going into the Cell games, rocking Piccolo's drip. He's like, oh, fucking put me in those weird shoes that look like they're made of wood.
Right.
And the big old cape with the...
something about Gohan is he was supposed to be the new main character.
Yeah.
For Dragon Ball, but Toei Animation was like... So that's why you see that scene in the Buu saga where he's like putting the paws on Buu. Then all of a sudden he just gets killed by plot.
Yeah, I mean... The show was supposed to end after the Frieza saga, and then it was supposed to end after the Cell saga. Like, Gohan, the father-son Kamehameha was supposed to be the end of the show. That was supposed to be, like, there wasn't even supposed to officially be a Super Saiyan 2 or whatever. It wasn't, like, supposed to be called that. It was supposed to be, like, Gohan has ascended to some level that's beyond Super Saiyan that... only a like human Saiyan hybrid in theory could hit.
And then they brought Super Saiyan 3 into it, and then nobody else can go to Super Saiyan 3 except for Gotenks. So you're kind of just like...
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. That's the thing is it's now gotten so weird that I have to watch Super to understand where the universe is at.
Yeah. You gotta watch the superhero movie. Superhero movie's pretty good.
Oh, is that like from Gohan's perspective?
No, the superhero movie is like you gotta watch it.
Are the super movies canon?
Yes.
That's so weird. Janemba's not canon, but
yeah, the super movies are canon because like Brawly, the Brawly movie that came out recently, he is in superhero.
I know they retconned and changed everything with Brawly, and it kind of
I like the stuff they changed.
I have to see it, but in my head, I want to puke because I enjoy the idea of like...
This nigga was beefing with Goku because he was crying too loud. Are you serious?
Well, I like the lore of just like Goku thinks he's the legendary Super Saiyan, and Goku and Vegeta's like hyping Goku up as like, I think Goku might be the legendary Super Saiyan.
Isn't the legendary Super Saiyan his dad?
No, Brawly was the legendary.
Wasn't his dad the first Super Saiyan, quote unquote?
Who's
Bardock?
That's a new age thing. No, because
that came out in the 90s.
Bardock never went Super Saiyan in the 90s.
Oh, Nick, there's no way.
No, you're talking about the Bardock movie where Frieza kills him in front of Planet Vegeta?
But he really goes back in time?
No, they changed all that shit. That all is like new. That all is new. I watched the Bardock movie on like fucking VHS. And Bardock dies, and he does not go Super Saiyan in it. But I know that they, like, retconned that to where...
I don't think so.
Yeah, dude, I'm 150% positive that they retconned that. Because in the original run, the story was supposed to be that Vegeta thinks Goku's the legendary Super Saiyan, but Brawly is actually the legendary Super Saiyan.
Did they retcon Bardock Super Saiyan?
He doesn't... Have you seen the original Bardock movie?
Yes. He goes back in time and defends his planet from Frieza's ascendance, and he becomes a Super Saiyan at the end of the movie.
That movie must have come out
in 1990.
No.
Yes. Nick, I looked it up because I was
That's not that one.
October 17th, 1990.
That's not the one where he goes Super Saiyan.
Yes, it is.
The one where Bardock goes Super Saiyan is the newer one.
No, Nick. I'm telling. Look, I'll look this up. Because I'm 98% sure.
I'm so positive. I've seen the Bardock movie so many times. I remember him standing there, Frieza doing the finger thing, and then the ball becomes like the gigantic orb that's like the size of a moon. He throws it, and Bardock is like charging up his like stupid...
Bardock achieved the Super Saiyan transformation in the TV special titled Dragon Ball Z Bardock, the Father of Goku, that released in 1990.
There's no way he transforms
I'm telling you, Nick. Bardock was the first
So
Super
he's
Saiyan.
the weakest super... He gets killed by level 1 Frieza?
No. When he gets killed by Frieza, that blast sends him back in time. Did you not watch the movie? You got to watch the movie, Nick. I'm telling you.
I've seen this movie like 100 times.
It doesn't sound like you've seen the movie because this is what happens in the movie. And the movie aired in 1990.
Nah.
30-some-odd years ago.
This is nonsense.
Nick's having an old man moment, y'all. I told you.
This is not... Bardock gets sent back in time?
I will bet you good money this happens in the movie. I am telling you. I've seen this movie multiple times.
This is nonsense.
Watch the movie. Watch the movie tonight.
Bardock dies with a power level like under 10,000.
The movie tonight, Nick. I am telling you, watch the movie tonight.
All right. We'll get to the bottom of this.
I
think this is
promise
malarkey.
You, it is not malarkey. He's the first Super Saiyan.
All right, I'm sure they've George Lucas digitally added that in after
Look, the excuses are coming up. Now he's gonna be like, it's fake news.
It is.
Toriyama's fake news. It's not a real movie.
Bardock gets sent back in time. I saw this nigga die.
This might be a Mandela effect thing, Nick. I'm not gonna lie.
I saw him die.
And then get sent back in time.
Why does that send him back in time?
Nigga, don't ask me. I'm not Toriyama, but I'm telling you what happened. Because I looked it up just now. Same movie. 1990. October 17th. I just blew your mind, didn't I?
No. I gotta go look this up. But
I'm telling you, Nick.
But yeah. God. Dragon Ball Z, though, man. The Cell Saga is my favorite saga.
Really?
Yeah, it's the best. It's peak. It's got the best fights. You get Trunks... Yeah. Super Saiyan Ultra Trunks.
Cell Saga did last a long time, though.
Yeah, a little too long. The Cell games.
Cell games was funny.
I will say...
That's the first time you get to see Mr. Satan.
The Cell games, when Krillin's Destructo Disc breaks on Cell's neck...
Hilarious.
I kind of was like... That actually was kind of a portend to a big problem that would show up later in Dragon Ball Super for me. Which is that was when I stopped kind of being able to tell where people's power levels were.
Yeah, I think that's when it started getting more and more ambiguous.
Because when you're on Namek, it's actually so funny, but when you're on Namek, you like aggressively know, like you're like, well, Zarbon can beat Dodoria, or Dodoria can beat Zarbon in his human form, but Zarbon in his monster form can beat Dodoria, and that can beat Vegeta, but but Raccoon is stronger than that, but that's weaker than Goldo. But you're like, you can set up like a tier, a hierarchy, whereas like once you get to like the Cell games area, it starts, and then everything in the Buu saga starts to just get very confusing. About like how strong anyone is.
Look, you think it's confusing now? When you start watching Super and you get to the Tournament of Power, nigga, it gets so ambiguous. Certain characters that weren't before become like Buu level.
Yeah, it's like when Piccolo shows up and starts working Frieza, and you're like, wait a minute, hold up now. You combine a guy with a power level of 10,000 with a guy with a power level of 40,000, you get a guy with a power level of 3 million. Like, what's going? Okay. Okay, I guess.
Because you multiply it.
Do you? Is that in the handbook?
I think it is, yeah.
Piccolo's combined with 3 niggas. He's like...
So, your favorite arc is the Cell Saga. Who's your favorite character?
Oh, Future Trunks. It's gotta be.
Favorite fight?
Gohan versus Android 17 and 18 in the history of Trunks. Because that fight is the saddest fight in all of Dragon Ball.
Yeah.
Gohan fighting for his fucking... The first time you see Gohan and he's missing an arm, you're like, what the fuck? Like, this is bad. Yeah. Bulma didn't build him a robot arm. Like, they can't sensu beam that shit back. Like, this is bad. And they're like, everyone else is dead. And you're just like, fuck. And then Gohan just being like, Trunks, get out of here. It's like the only fight in Dragon Ball where you're like, there are stakes. Like, this does not get walked back. Like, future Trunks does not come out of this like a good person. He doesn't get to go to Snake Way and talk to King Yama and just get to hang out with his fucking family again. You're like, This is like, you're literally seeing a kid get shit ripped away from him in this.
Okay. That's pretty good. That's a pretty good choice. Dang. Yeah, Future Trunks, because you were talking about Future Trunks a lot, and I'm like, this nigga might be a Future Trunks fan. I get it. I understand it. I think it's not a ridiculous thing to say. I'd say favorite character, Vegeta. Favorite fight, Goku and Vegeta in the Buu Saga. Majin Vegeta versus Goku.
That Majin Vegeta is like I don't want to say Majin Vegeta is like the one dignifying thing of the Buu Saga.
Okay. I swear I thought you were going to say one of your crazy crackhead takes, and I was going to have to be like, what?
No, Majin Vegeta, it's like the Buu Saga has so much annoying crap in it. But Majin Vegeta is like, Vegeta really would, like, sell his soul to the devil, you know? Like, that's crazy. And it's fucked up. And it's, like, bad, but it's also, like...
Sounds about Vegeta.
It's like...
It's weird because in episodes, like 12 episodes prior, he's, like, training with the son, trying to teach his son how to be strong, and now he's like, yeah, I'm killing a bunch of niggas for no reason.
Yeah, And then Gohan gets his secret power unlocked, and that's so...
I thought it was cool.
It was super fucking cool until he loses.
He became the strongest character in Dragon Ball just to get washed by the plot.
Yeah,
Nigga stopped paying attention for 5 seconds. Lost the game.
I hated all of that. And then Kid Buu, I'm not even going to lie. I've watched it like twice. I kind of don't remember what's going on when they're fighting Kid Buu. Like, they're fighting him, like, kind of like in King Kai's world.
In the Supreme Kai's world, yeah.
Yeah, and they're like, and Goku does, like, the Universal Spirit Bomb to kill him.
And Vegeta's fighting Buu. Distracting him.
Yeah, and it's like, if Vegeta dies, they're like, you die forever.
No more Dragon Balls.
And you're just like, I guess. Doesn't one of them die forever?
Actually, Vegeta died. They both died, actually. Because Vegeta died when he blew up Fat Buu.
That's right.
He's already dead, and they like transported him to the planet.
Yeah, and he's fighting with the halo on, and they're like, if you die, you're like evaporated. Like, no heaven or hell even. You just disappear.
Yeah, then there was Vegito for a second, the Atari ring.
And then they had to get out of that one. Yeah. And it's like, god damn it, I hate the Buu arc. Well, I don't hate it, but it's just like, you can't...
the most confusing.
You can't make sense of what's going to happen. And that's like...
The part that I appreciated the most was the beginning of it, where it was talking about, like, Gohan. Like, if they just had the show be, like, just that, like a more jovial tone, kind of reminiscent of, like, the original Dragon Ball, I would have liked that.
Yeah, it sucks how many things Akira Toriyama tried. You know that the designs for Cell were, like... He drew Cell Form 1, and the... I'm trying to think here. He drew Dr. Gero and the fat guy, and the editors at Shonen Jump were like, these aren't like main characters, dude. These look like stupid. And so he drew Android 17 and 18, and they were like, hell yeah, these are some main ass characters, and that's why they're both so hot. And then he was like, but then
I guess that's true.
But then he was like, I need a big bad though, and then he drew Cell in his first form, and they were like, this looks stupid. This doesn't look like a real villain. Like, this guy can't be the one giving these ones orders. And so he drew Cell Form 2, and they were like, this looks stupider. Stop drawing stupid shit. And so he drew Perfect Cell. And then he was like, but I like all these designs. And so he made the 3 Cell stages. But he wanted Cell to be like, all of the Cell transformations came from the fact that his editor kept telling him, like, this all looks like dog shit. You're an idiot. Why are you drawing this?
A lot of, like, the editors and, like, the strong arm that Toei Animation had and, like, how he made his story kind of ruined certain parts of the story people probably would like to see.
But also, you can't downplay how much Toriyama kind of didn't give a shit about Dragon Ball.
At least towards the end, he was kind of just like hands off for the most part.
You know, like when they asked him to do the Brawly Dragon Ball Super movie, he was like, I didn't know Brawly was that popular of a character. I didn't know he was any more popular than like Janemba or Turles from the Tree of Might movie.
Brawly's like one of the people I've seen him as like the strongest nigga in Dragon Ball for a long time.
Yeah, like that's like Toriyama apparently like every time someone was like that. I think when he heard that Vegeta was a fan favorite, he was like shocked. Like he's like, they're like, who's your favorite character? And he's like, obviously Piccolo. And it's like people like Vegeta the most, and he's like, I hate Vegeta as a character. Like there's just such funny degrees
when you're the creator of your own art, you're not able to recognize the good parts everybody else likes about it because you like your own parts about it that you worked on. That you're like, oh well, I put more attention to this. Somebody's like, well, I like this a lot more. Like some people will make music. And popular artists, they'll make a song where they don't even really like take that long on it. It'll be like 5 minutes, and that's the most popular song of all time. They're kind of like, what?
Why do they have capsules? And it's like, I didn't want to have to draw everyone having like a car and like keeping up with everyone having like, oh, Yamcha drives this type of car and Goku drives this and Chi-Chi has this. He's like, I didn't want to deal with all of that. So I made the capsules so that whenever someone needed anything, they could just like have an excuse to pull it out of like their purse and make it happen. And he was like, that was a way for him to get around drawing a bunch of machinery in the world. To explain people like flying around and taking helicopters places and shit like that. Yeah. And it's like, damn, this nigga was lazy in like a lot of very funny ways. But him saying like, I didn't realize people like liked Brawly. And
that is insane.
And like, I don't think Toriyama has seen like all of Dragon Ball Z. I think he's seen all of Dragon Ball, but it's like, have you seen all of Dragon Ball Z? I think he's like, I've seen like, some important moments. I've seen some scenes to make sure they got them right, but I trust the team. And when you hear him say that shit, it's like, I mean, this is so funny, man.
He had a bigger hand in Dragon Ball Superhero, and you could tell, definitely. But yeah, I think for the most part, like the last part of like his life, he was kind of just like, man, it's there. Which is fair. He did his work. He literally changed the face of anime and manga as we know it.
It's so funny. Because Togashi's there making everything he does seem so self-serious and so like, come on, man. And Toriyama's just like, I don't know. Like the first time it's like, why is Goku fighting Beerus? And it's like, Beerus is like, I want to eat the most delicious food in the universe. And I think you might be a delicious piece of food. And you're just like, this nigga.
Pause.
He's printing the money.
Hold on. Yeah, I mean, you see a lot of things like this, right? Like, I think one example where the mangaka probably doesn't really care and can kind of do what they want is like Oda. Because Toei puts a lot of pressure on him to do a lot of things, but Oda's just like, yeah, I'm going to do my own thing.
I think Oda said he's watched all of One Piece.
I don't know how he finds the time to. They be dragging that anime.
Yeah.
They like add so many things that don't need to be added into the anime, and like the manga takes so much less time to get into.
Isn't One Piece just a chapter an episode at this point? Like it's like every chapter of the manga gets its own.
I think so, but
because it shouldn't be that way.
Here's the thing that pisses me off.
Attack on Titan figured it out. 2 chapters an episode.
Here's the thing that pisses me off. Right, in order to fill up time and space, because they're doing that, they have like these random panning scenes, or they include scenes that don't need to be in the anime at all. That just waste time.
But yeah, I mean, One Piece really needs to get. I think
the
My Hero, Attack on Titan, like 2 chapters per episode. It's like that's the way it should be.
I think that the One Piece anime at least needs to fix its pacing issues, or it's gonna have a hard time getting newer fans. Not to say that it is right now, but I'm saying in the foreseeable future it might if they do not fix their pacing issues. Because I used to watch One Piece all the time. I got burnt out. I was sick and tired of seeing a 5-minute recap on a 24-minute episode.
So a One Piece Kai would be.
People have been asking for a revamp of One Piece, like from the beginning, but in shorter form with all the fluff to like get to the actual story.
I can't handle it being 4x3. Ooh.
Well, no, not that. Mostly just like the amount of fluff they add to the episodes to make them last longer instead of like telling the story.
Yeah, but that's always what the studios. That's always like the gleaming excuse to redo something. It's like, it was in 4:3, but now we'll do it in 16:9.
Yeah. I mean, I think if they reanimate it in the current animation style, it'd probably do freaking billions. I'm not even gonna lie to you, because One Piece is a legitimately good show and it's a good story. It's just the fact that the anime drags so incredulously hard for no reason.
Yeah, but the people who watch it are like people who watch Grey's Anatomy. They're kind of there for that. They're
Grey's
like,
Anatomy is like the white woman One Piece.
they're like, I like being on the boat with the crew. I like to feel
Something
like I'm.
I've been seeing on Twitter is the One Piece fans going back and forth with the Dragon Ball fans, because like One Piece fans are turning into like the really annoying type of anime fans where they just believe like the only good anime is One Piece. It's like, well, hold on.
I mean, not for nothing, Oda put the Yu-Gi-Oh guy and the Dragon Ball guy in the fucking ground. Like, they're dead. And he's alive.
You think it's an inside job? Is that what you're saying?
I'm just saying, like, the big three, Oda's looking at Tite Kubo and Kishimoto like, how much sand's in that hour?
How much time y'all got? Yeah.
Kishimoto's higher in security right now.
Apparently, Tite Kubo is going to do some new stuff for Bleach. It's going to be a different arc. People are thinking it's going to be a Hell arc, finally.
Ichigo's going to find out he's 1/4 Saiyan. Fucking bullshit.
I can see that happening.
I got issues with, you know what's getting under my skin about all of this?
Ichigo's name means good at everything.
Is that Boruto is coming back
look,
into the consciousness, because Boruto's now had its time skip.
Apparently it's getting good. Brian reads it, and he says it's really good, but the anime sucks. He says the manga's amazing. The anime is trash, because it has, like, literally 90% filler.
Yeah, I've been seeing Boruto stands coming up lately, and they're like, ooh, it's called like Two Blue Comets or something, or Two Blue Blaze.
Something Blue Blaze or something.
Blaze
like,
Blue,
yeah.
Calamity
from
Trigger.
From what I've been explained, it does seem like it's pretty dope, so I might read the manga. We'll see.
I don't know. Boruto lost an eye. I'm like, what's up with that?
So did Sasuke.
I saw a fight, and I see Naruto and Sasuke with Momoshiki or whatever, and I'm just like, who's this fucker? Like, what's going on with this? Like, these guys are both planet crackers.
I think that,
like, what's going on?
I think that the story does get interesting.
I can't even say it's shit. I was just like, I've noticed
the anime for sure.
The Boruto fans have been straight up saying like when people say stuff like Boruto sucks, I've been seeing the Boruto fans saying stuff like, this idiot's still judging Boruto by its first 30 episodes. I've been seeing like that take coming up where people are like, oh, this guy watched the first episode of Boruto and he thinks he's got a real fucking opinion on it. And I'm like,
something off topic, on topic that I think is interesting is Jujutsu Kaisen. A lot of the fans of the manga and anime, I've never seen another group of people that doesn't understand the media in which they are watching so much.
I don't know. I like to see the JJK fans turn on their series, because I was always a Jujutsu Kaisen hater, and
Not just because you're old.
No, because I said that this anime's like dynamics and sense of power and scaling and lessons. I always felt like JJK felt like a show that didn't have like a lesson.
It doesn't have a lesson,
or like an idea behind it.
You know what the lesson is? Calamity comes to all. That's the lesson.
Like Full Metal Alchemist opens with like, there's a cost for everything, and you get to that last episode and you're like, there is a cost for everything, and you're like, good message. Yeah, Deku is like, I will work hard and I'll achieve my dreams, and you're like, that nigga works hard, a nigga achieves his dreams. Attack on Titan, Aaron's like, I'll do whatever I take for my people, and it's like, that nigga does whatever it takes for his people. JJK, I'm just like, yeah, Yuji ate a cursed finger. Like, I don't fucking. It's kind of like Tanjiro. Like, I
think the point of.
I don't get
that is a reach.
Tanjiro's like, I gotta kill all the demons, and I'm like, yeah,
Elijah Wan reach.
They're not well motivated characters.
He wants to kill all the demons so he can cure his sister.
But his sister being like in that weird half state is itself like a plot hole.
I have no idea.
It's like, why does she get to like be a demon during the day and drink blood or whatever the fuck? And it's
she doesn't drink blood.
Exactly. It's like weird. Everything about her is weird, and it's like, I guess,
it's
like,
because. Well, have you finished the manga?
No, and I'm not gonna. I'm gonna just watch the show.
So then, Nick, I can't say anything to you, but I will say this: you know how dumb it would be for me to judge a show or judge a manga just by like the first like 2 chapters.
You're sounding like the Boruto fans.
Because I understand. I understand, Nick. I understand. Because look, there's certain anime that I watched back in the day. Niggas were hating on. Niggas were cooking. And then when it got good, people were finally like, wait a minute. Attack on Titan. Perfect example.
Yeah, I mean, I had some
Season 1 came out. Niggas were on meat. Niggas were hating on everybody watching AOT. And it finally got good. I'm like, yeah, imagine judging Attack on Titan just off Season 1. So I get it.
Yeah. But the problem is, Boruto feels like it carries like the sins of the father, maybe more than any other anime I've ever seen actually, where Boruto is a blatant like Kishimoto's like, this is a cash grab, but bear with me. Like, I don't think I've ever seen an anime do that sort of thing. Like, you're like, okay, Shinichiro Watanabe's making like a sequel series to Cowboy Bebop or something. You'd be like, I guess the guy needs his money or whatever. But Boruto felt like Kishimoto is like
a sequel series of Cowboy Bebop.
No, but like in theory,
that'd be pretty cool.
You would be like,
at least if there was like, a prequel series about Spike, I'd watch that.
Prequel, I wouldn't. I'd feel like it was. That's exactly the type of thing. If Nabishin said, "Let's make a prequel to Cowboy Bebop," it'd be like, do you need the money that bad?
No, because I want to know. I don't know. I want to know Spike's story.
No, that's what makes it cool. Is that you don't know it?
Shut your mouth. That is the most annoying part of the entire show, bro. That's the most annoying part. You get like 2 clips, and that is it.
I can't go on the Cowboy Bebop Wikia and see. I can't go to fandom.com/Cowboy Bebop Wiki.
Look, you get an insight into every single person's backstory except for Spike's.
And that's what makes it's on purpose.
You're a monkey, Nick.
It's on purpose.
I'm not agreeing with you on this. That is ridiculous.
But yeah, and that was the thing is it was when Boruto was announced, it felt like Kishimoto wanted it to be his Dragon Ball Z. Like, he was like, everyone's going to line up like pigs to the fucking trough.
I think there's potential for it to be like that because of how the story is progressing now.
I think Boruto...
You can stay a Hall of Fame hater and never read it. That's your thing. I might start reading it.
I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying, like, it took up until Boruto's time skip that now the Boruto people feel comfortable enough to talk shit. And I'm like, that is a sea change in the medium, because before the Boruto people like rightfully were like, yeah, I like Boruto. I don't want to like really talk about it out here, but like it's like, I like people would be like, Boruto fucking sucks, and then like one guy in a room full of 20 would be like, I kind of like it, I think it's okay. I think it's now like they're like, you're a dumbass. Yeah, they're like you sound like an idiot.
It might be because there's things in the Boruto, like the original Boruto, that drew into what's going on now that make more sense.
I gotta see what's in there now, because
gotta open that box.
The tone of "you sound like a fucking idiot" has gotten so overbearing that I'm like, if this is Tower of God again, where I get into it and I'm like, there's actually nothing here. This is Tokyo Revengers all over again.
Did you get to the end of that manga?
You guys fucking hype this shit up and it's garbage.
Did you get to the end of
I didn't finish Tokyo Revengers.
Don't. It's bad.
They hyped it up so much.
The ending is so horrendous, because me and Jose started reading it when it came out, and then when it got to the ending, we were just like, what the heck was that? Nigga just spit in our face.
It's fucking the end of Soul Eater, or Soul... Is it Soul Eater?
Fire Force?
The guy who made Fire Force before Fire Force.
Soul Eater?
Yeah.
The Soul Eater manga was good ending. Soul Eater anime ending was confusing and weird and ambiguous.
Yeah, it's that all over again, where it's like, you guys talked this up. You guys were like, oh, the manga's way better. And then I get there and I'm like, it's a little better. It's not like, whoa, oh my God, I learned something. This is the problem, is like you have too many anime teaching lessons now. Like you get to the end of Mob Psycho or you get to the end of One Punch Man and you
were just complaining about Jujutsu Kaisen not having a lesson.
Exactly. But I'm saying, because you get to the end of some of these anime now and you're like, you get to the end of the 5th season of My Hero Academia, and you're like, I'm going to be a little bit nicer to disabled people. And like a weird way in the back of your head.
That gives me like the opposite thought.
I'm going to be meaner to disabled. Yeah. I'm going to develop fire powers and abuse my wife. But
quote him saying that, by the way. Use that.
But now we have like a lot more anime and stuff where I don't know if an anime can just get by Kengan Ashura style on all style anymore. Like it's
yeah, it can. If you're not pretentious. you can definitely watch an anime that's just all style.
I mean, it's my problem with Demon Slayer too. Is it's like,
Look, Nick, you just got to accept you're a pretentious millennial that hates all new things, and that's okay.
I love so many new things.
Like,
fucking. Let me think
the
here.
silence is loud, bro.
No. I've been watching 2 Year Eternity. I love Dr. Stone. I think Dr. Stone's like a
really
cool new like idea for a show.
Boichi's probably one of my favorite mangakas of all time.
I like Chainsaw Man. I gave Promise Neverland a shot until it fucked everyone in the ass. I'm very open. Mob Psycho 100 is one of my favorite things that's ever existed. Like I watched.
You ever end up checking out Jobless Reincarnation?
I think I watched the first episode of it, but it. Yeah,
it wasn't more that. Yeah, I can understand.
No, it's just like it's been. I was like, I'm gonna start watching Monster, and I'm gonna finish Monster, so I don't have this blind spot.
Yeah, I've never
anymore.
finished Monster either. I got to episode like 10.
It's like 70 something. It's longer than you think.
It's 52 episodes. It's about the same length as Brotherhood.
It's 73. I just downloaded it.
It was 73?
Yeah.
Dang, never mind.
It's longer, and everyone talks about Johan so much, and I know who Johan is.
That nigga
I'm already at that point, and I'm like, I gotta just see what happens, so like this stops being a blind spot for me. But it's kind of like Escaflowne when I got into that, where I'm like, there's just things in the 90s were just not drawn. The hair was drawn better, the environments were darker, but the flow and the pace of things is a little slow
Weird.
at times.
So all in all, how would you rate the entirety of the work of Akira Toriyama?
It's impossible to rate it. It'd be like saying like.
Well, I'm saying solid, and that's my rating.
I don't know who Dragon Ball is for in this post Akira Toriyama age.
It's for everyone.
If you were born today and 15 years from now, you're like, should I watch Dragon Ball? Like, if you were 12 years, if you were the age I was when I got into Dragon Ball, if you're like, I'm 12 or some shit, and I want to watch DBZ, should I? I'd be like, I genuinely don't know. I feel like you maybe should for historical purposes, in the same way that, like, I couldn't in all.
No, I disagree.
I mean, you recently rewatched it, and you think it's good.
I think there's a lot of, like, especially, like, young boys, there's a lot of things that you can learn from Dragon Ball Z that are pretty practical and make a lot of sense.
There's almost no lesson in DBZ that I don't see being almost equally or better represented in, like, My Hero Academia.
Oh, my gosh. That's the craziest thing I've ever heard you say.
What? All Might's like a Goku-esque figure.
Yeah.
Deku's like a Gohan.
No. No.
Deku's got a lot going on, honestly.
Not compare Deku to Gohan, bro. Don't do that.
Come on, man.
Don't play with Gohan like that.
Gohan is, by his own creator's admission, like an underdeveloped character.
Yeah. Still good, though.
But it's like, I don't know if, like, the average person... I almost don't feel like you get the same effect of Dragon Ball if you're not watching it like weekly on TV in an environment where you don't have control of when the episodes
and
play.
This is where your age is starting to show, Nick. I'm telling you, it's definitely has the same effect. If not, it has a better effect because you're able to get that whole story at once and truly appreciate everything.
I guess
you're just used to like the time of like you had to turn the handle to turn the TV on.
Put gasoline in my television.
In your television. Make sure it's on. Make sure the antenna's in the right place.
Take my polio vaccine.
Look at the TV guide to see what time it's playing at. We're in a post TV time, and you can still get the same effects of things from binge watching them than you can from week to week. Now, I will say, popularity wise, week to week is probably the best way to like propagate something out more, rather than having it all come out at once, because then people are like hype about it and they're like, I wonder what's happening next week. I wonder what's happening next week. That suspense builds, right? Which is why you see stuff like the new JoJo season kind of failed. People didn't talk about it because they released all of it at once.
But there's so many meta aspects of Dragon Ball Z that I think affect your enjoyment of it. Like the fact that you... Like, when I saw Goku go Super Saiyan, I didn't know that was possible.
Yeah.
I think everybody
was like that.
Yeah, but I'm saying like you grew up in a world where you knew things could go Super Saiyan. Like
before I watched Zeke High, I had no idea. Like I'd seen pictures of Dragon Ball, Nothing.
Wow.
Yeah. So when I saw it, like me and my brother were like, what the heck just happened? Like, it was crazy.
Because now it's like you got rap songs that are like, I'm about to go Super Saiyan and shit on this pussy. Or like, you've got like, you'll go to like a ramen place and they're like, order the Super Saiyan ramen bowl and stuff. But it's like, when I, as like a child, saw Goku go Super Saiyan when I was like 11,
I still think it hits to a certain degree. Maybe not the same. That'd be like saying like, yeah, when you see the moon landing now, you know, it's not as cool as when you saw it when it happened. Like, yeah, duh.
Yeah, okay. That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know.
That doesn't take from the enjoyment, Nick. That just changes the experience.
It was like a twist akin to like
I'm
season 3 of AOT.
But I'm telling you, it doesn't take away from the experience. It's just different. It is just different.
Yeah, definitely. But that's why I say I can't judge Dragon Ball because it's
you were there
too
when
close.
It happened.
Yeah, it's like asking someone in their 30s to like judge like Aladdin or like The Lion King. And it's
so
like,
what are your thoughts on The Lion King?
Well, it's just like I'm saying, it's like the average person who saw The Lion King in theaters. It's like, can you reasonably say you ever saw anything hand drawn that looked anywhere close to being even slightly that good when you saw it? And it's like, no. And it's like, so everyone who was like 10 years old when they saw The Lion King, they're like, it blew my fucking brain out. And it's like, well, yeah, but now if you watch it, I don't think it'll do that. But
yeah, because you got things like The Boy and the Heroine or like any like Hayao Miyazaki movie where you're just like, wow, this is so amazingly hand drawn.
Yeah, I would say, like, for instance, watching Ponyo or watching As the Wind Rises.
As the Wind Rises.
There's no animation moments in those where I'm like, whoa, like, what the like the Ribbon of Love in Your Name, where I'm like, whoa, didn't know colors could do that type shit. I'd say in the last couple Miyazaki movies, I've never had that moment, like that Princess Nausicaa, the Valley of the Wind, where it's like the wind blows and you see, like, individual leaves rustling type shit.
The Wind Rises had a scene like that where it was talking about the planes.
Yeah, but it's not as...
I feel like you're such a Debbie Downer with this stuff sometimes.
It's not as... No, because I'm saying...
You're getting like a back in my day type of vibe.
I'm saying the bar has been moved, and I can acknowledge that it's like when you see the father-son Kamehameha, you're like, oh my God, holy shit. But then it's like nowadays you see the United States of Smash, and you're just like
dang.
Oh my... You see a middling scene in One Punch Man Season 1, and you're like, well, I mean, it makes this stuff hard to judge.
That's why I don't really judge it off of stuff like that.
Because seeing Nappa rip apart an airplane in the 90s was insane. It was like, I was like, this is the craziest shit. And now it's like you show me like any of the fight sequences from Mob Psycho 100 Season 2, and I'm like, yeah, my 90s brain couldn't have even conceived of this. Like, this is so crazy. This is the craziest shit I've ever seen.
But I think Akira Toriyama definitely left his mark on this world. There's literally, like, people from different countries, like, calling for, like, hey, we got to, observe a day for, like, recognizing the greatness of this guy. It's like you got Argentina, you got China.
There's people human trafficking, and they're like, you know what? Taking the day off.
Bro, it's crazy that more people cared about the death of Toriyama than cared about the death of the Queen of England.
Yeah, I mean, it's bigger than, like, I think when Disney died. I think more people are incensed about this.
I have no idea. Didn't he die in, like, the 50s?
Yeah, Disney died. It's like, we didn't have... I think he died in the 60s or 70s. I know they froze him after he died.
He's probably walking around like a cyborg.
But, yeah. Still got to watch Super so I can lend it my respects. So I can stop hating on it. Because I watched the first, 20 episodes.
You're going to hate on it even more when you finish it.
But now I'll be watching.
The ending is amazing, though. Like, the tournament, the thing about it is, there's some really good moments.
That's why I know.
Really bad ones.
I know Ultra Instinct happens, and I know that this is like the ruinous fact of our current culture, where now everything is spoiled at a certain level. Like, it's impossible.
I mean, if you don't care, it doesn't really affect you that much.
But if you're like a consequentialist, you can't believe that it doesn't affect you.
What's a consequentialist?
You just have to believe that, like, you knowing of the presence, you knowing, like, it's like...
No, what's a consequentialist?
That everything has an effect. Like, there's no way where it's like, oh, well, he told me the ending of the movie, but it didn't affect my enjoyment of it. It's like, there's no way that's true.
I mean, I think that's...
It had some effect. It either raised it or lowered it, but there's no way it had no effect.
I think it's kind of crazy to let somebody else like saying something affect how you enjoy something else.
You want that to be the case, but I'm saying, like, for instance, this is like an idea, like with Naruto, when Jiraiya died, a big aspect of Jiraiya
Crazy.
dying and seeming like a big deal. Well, I was torn up when Jiraiya died. If you had told me when Jiraiya died, and nobody knew this because I was watching Naruto as it was coming out, oh, there's 200 more episodes, I would have been like, oh, this isn't as big of a deal as I thought it was. But it's like at the time when he died, Sasuke and Itachi meeting up
They
and
were
shit.
fighting. That fight was.
You think it's like, you're like, this is about to wrap up. Like, you're like, this series has like 10, 20 episodes left. It's fucking, this is a big deal. And it's like, there's stuff like that now when someone's like, I want to get into Naruto, they know that there's the 5 Shinobi War arc. And they know that that's something they have to get through. Versus like going into that and not knowing that you have to go through that. It's like Bleach right now too. Like where everyone's like wants to be zazzed about it, but we're like, we don't know if this ends good or not. This could end up dog shit again.
No, it is pretty good.
Yeah, it is, but that's the thing now is it's weird to try to consume completed media, I suppose.
I feel like you're just such a pessimist about this stuff because you're like, I can't enjoy it exactly how it was when it like. Okay.
No, like the people who enjoyed AOT as it was coming out, they have like a perpetual leg up on the people who get into it after the fact. It's just how it is. It's like that with anything. The first responders or whatever. But the early fans, the day ones, that's like the benefit that they get is it's like now people go into Attack on Titan and like some people can't even like avoid the spoilers about it. Like so many people like know it takes place on like an island and shit. And it's like those are all things where it's like you remember how you felt when you learned it was an island.
I almost crap my pants.
You remember that. And it's like, it is, I feel sad for people who go into the experience and they don't get to have that.
Yeah.
It is like, oh, you went in knowing that they were on it. It's like, yeah, I know they're on an island, but I need to figure out why. And it's like, oh, dude, you don't even realize that like knowing it's on an island kind of takes away from season 3. Like and it's that all over.
I don't think it's as big of a
That's
deal.
why Super's cool though, is that Akira Toriyama's like, I got you niggas in the 80s, I got you niggas in the zeros, and then I'm gonna get y'all again in the 2010s. He literally like 3 decades of like, whoa, where's this shit going?
He's like the LeBron of manga.
Oh snap! All right, we're back.
He's like the LeBron of manga because he's been relevant in like 3 different decades.
Yeah,
LeBron has been a top 5 player in the league for 3 different decades, so like the equivalency is pretty accurate. Where it's like, and I think even after he's gone, he's still going to be one of the most important figures in anime and manga.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, it's protect Oda at all costs, man. Like fucking.
Bro, somebody's got to finish that show.
Yo,
he got like 10 more years left to finish it.
I thought he said he's got like an estimated like 4 years left.
That's what they're saying.
Protect Oda at all costs.
2028.
Dude, if something happened to him, if Oda gets a brain tumor, that'll be like God fucking with us. It'll literally be the worst thing. Like, if we don't find out what One Piece is, if he does not have like a steel safe under his house that says like, if I die, this is what One Piece is, my wife knows the combination.
He probably does. Because he's told the ending to a fan that was dying of cancer like a while back. So he has the ending already in his head. Like, well defined. So if something were to happen.
God, it's all going to be everyone combines and becomes one piece of humanity. Brahma Nirguna, the upper realm.
I just wonder what happened in the law. Though I'm more questionable about the Lost Century and what happened during that time period. I'm like more interested in like the stuff like that or like the poneglyphs, to be completely honest with you. Like the One Piece is like the last thing I care about in the show, to be honest. I'm not even gonna lie.
Gotta know what's in that One Piece. I feel like a cartoon dog. I'm like, I gotta know what's in that One Piece.
Compared to like everything else going on, especially with the world government, it feels like such an irrelevant thing.
No, I don't know. I'm like 1,200 issues behind that one.
Oh, well,
I literally need to. But it's been the thing where I can't even avoid fucking spoilers. This is the shit I'm talking about. I've seen Gear 5. I've seen like the fight. I've seen so many things happen in One Piece where it's like I literally just don't have time to have the blinders up.
See, if you just go into it like I do and you just don't care, it's a lot more enjoyable.
They took it from me, man. They took it all from me.
This nigga Literally, it just feels like he's got his lunch money taken.
Well, this is fun. This has been a fun ep.
So we're doing Suzume next, right?
Suzume next, and then after that, our Alpha Core review. Are we doing that?
Yes!
Sure.
Finally! Oh my
All
god.
All right. Yes, we're going to try to get to 2 episodes a week. Maybe record on a Tuesday and Thursday. Do like our movie episode Tuesday, our news episode Thursday. It'd be a good cadence.
That could work.
Yeah.
I think in a few weeks I'm going to be gone for a bit.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll let you know.
Okay. But, god damn it. I genuinely teared. Like, dude, when Akira Toriyama died, I had like 3 friends message me at like 1 in the morning.
Literally, I was in the gym because I saw the news before I went to the gym. I was in the gym at like 2 in the morning. Brian calls me. He's like, "Did you hear?" I'm like, "What?" He's like, "Toriyama died." I'm like, "Yeah."
Yeah, like my oldest friend messaged me like, "God, no!" At like 2.
They hit Toriyama.
Like, I was like, "What happened?" And he was like, "He's dead. He's real." I was like, "No!"
Because it was not a piece of news you would be expecting. Like,
he's my mom's age.
Oof. Dang.
But the way he's talking about it seemed like he knew he was gonna die.
Well, yeah, he had a brain tumor. One of his assistants said he had a brain tumor.
Right.
For a bit, so.
I'm glad I didn't see anyone making any give him a sensu bean jokes.
That would have been pretty good.
Nah.
Yeah, but all that stuff going on Twitter is pretty interesting. There's people arguing about whether or not the original dub is better or the Kai dub is better.
It's all
conjecture.
Yeah, it's all get out of these things what you can and what you wish to. And what's interesting to me is the wave, because I know this happened with Berserk. And I know that it happened to a lesser degree with Yu-Gi-Oh! But I know this happened with Berserk is... I wonder what the mindset is of a guy who's getting into Dragon Ball because you saw all of this emotional outpouring.
It's like, no, this might be cool.
Because I know that there was like 100,000 people who got into Berserk because when Miura died, a bunch of people in Final Fantasy XIV put on black armor and equipped their largest swords, and they all like lined up and they did their taunts together. Where it's like you place this, they were all like paying respects to Miura, and I know literally like 100,000 people playing Final Fantasy XIV were like, what the fuck are all these people doing? And they're paying fucking patronage to Miura, and then like a bunch of people got into Berserk from that.
Yeah.
And so we're about to see a bunch of second wave, like some 7-year-old who is like, why'd you get into Dragon Ball? It's like, in the middle of March 2024, I just saw my dad start crying and he was holding a Dragon Ball.
It's like, I wonder what this is about.
Yeah.
I mean, you saw it with like COVID, how a bunch of people got into anime and like video games.
You saw a bunch of people think they were... Bebop has got to be the funniest one where, like, I knew, like, 30 people who were like, bro, I'm watching Bebop, but I don't like it, but I feel like if I say I don't like it online, everyone will make fun of me.
I think it's a fun show. But I will never not be mad that we didn't get more info about Spike. I'm sorry. That'll be, like, my one gripe. That was one of the parts I liked the most. Remember that one nigga that was, like, the android with the umbrella?
Mm-hmm.
That nigga was so menacing every scene he was in, bro.
Not Bob.
You know what I'm talking about, right?
Not Majahal.
Oh, man.
Was it Majahal?
No, it was, like... Hey, make me look this up.
Yeah, the big fat... he was, like, assassin, yeah. Anyway... But yeah, it's gonna be... God, I can't believe he's gone.
The Mad Perot.
Mad Perot, yeah.
Mad Perot. That nigga was menacing, bro.
Yeah.
He was legitimately scary. Like, there was some
he
characters...
was a ball.
Yes, but he was, like, so, like, agile, and he would shoot with... I was like, yeah, nigga. If this happened in real life, I'd piss myself. No joke.
I'd be done.
Nigga be like...
Oh, check out.
Is that Piasmo? Yeah, but... Yeah, so Suzume Ep, and then... Alpha Core review, finally.
Yeah. God, you know, Akira, this is like one of the historical events that it will be like 20 years from now, we'll be like kind of explaining.
Where were you when you heard Akira died?
Like, we're going to see some fucking wackadoo thing, like some character named like Johnny the Fisherman, and he's going to be wearing red and orange. And we're going to be like, this is all a Goku knot. You know, it's interesting. This is like to witness a Disney level event. Big, like, you know.
I guess. I don't know. I mean, I wasn't around for that. I know you were, so you probably have more insight.
We were all here for Dragon Ball, though.
No, I'm talking about the Disney thing.
I was. I didn't witness Disney die.
He was
but
there.
I'm just saying, it's like, I don't know. It's crazy. He's like, people are like, oh, he'll be the next Mozart. And it's like, Mozart wishes he was Akira Toriyama. Pal.
Okay, that's a crazy statement. That's a crazy statement.
Name 3 things Mozart's done.
Piano Concerto, number 3. For Elite. No, that's not him. There was
Exactly, bro.
Alla Turca. You think I don't know? Mozart's 8th Symphony, I'm pretty sure. Pretty freaking cool.
You know what a lot of people can't sing is any of those, but all of South America, you say cha-la, they say head cha-la.
No, well, yeah.
Come on.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, they do. They freaking love Dragon Ball over there, dude. Like, my brother's wife was, like, talking about, like, how in Mexico, like, niggas are going crazy. Like,
it's yeah, I mean, I can't believe he's gone.
We'll be all right.
We'll be all right. We'll
Niggas die every day, B.
Jeez.
No, I'm playing.
Out of these streets. Wow.
Yeah, but it was definitely some harrowing news nobody was expecting, but we appreciate Toriyama and the work that he did the past 40 or so years, and he really affected a lot of people's lives to the point where I think that Dragon Ball has fostered so many different friendships and allowed so many people to really figure out who they are.
Goku is the apex predator of gym bros.
Okay. I was waiting where you... Yeah.
He's the most successful gym bro ever, and
Yeah.
he's a fictional character, and more people have gotten their bench over 300 because of Goku than maybe any fucking fitness instructor, any Brock Lesnar, any Bobby... what's his name?
You got Tom Platz. You got Kevin Levrone. You got Ronnie Coleman. You got
Ronnie
Rich Piana,
Coleman's. You got your Schwarzeneggers.
You got your...
If you made a Mount Rushmore of
Piana.
bodybuilders, you'd have Arnold Schwarzenegger, Ronnie Coleman,
Okay.
Goku,
Okay.
and then I don't know who's number 4.
Number 4, Chris Bumstead.
Sure.
At least now, because he's pretty up there as far as like popularity goes. And then I would say...
There's
the
point is
dude from the Golden Age.
the point is you'd be looking at this Mount Rushmore and you'd be like, one of those is an anime character, and it's like, yes, he fucking is.
Yeah, I mean, literally, like in the whole gym content thing, like everybody, like there's so many different like songs that have like, just Goku just going crazy. Like people love Goku in the bodybuilding space because he's just like the antithesis of like train hard enough and you will achieve your goal. So it's cool.
I'm sad.
It'll be alright. Niggas die every day, B. I gotta stop saying that.
Zeke's just putting them in the ground.
Somebody's gonna leave a hateful comment like, this guy doesn't like Akira Toriyama at all. He's a fake fan. We get cooked.
All right, y'all. Well, as we always say, if you really loved your giant robot,
You would remove... You know what? I'm not gonna make that joke. I was gonna make a joke. I had to stop myself.
you'd actually be loving Oolong.
Oolong? Ah, man. You talking about the pig? I forgot about that dude, bro.
Ordering them panties to save the world.
Yeah, Jit was obsessed with Launch, too. I think everybody was obsessed with Launch.
We were all obsessed.
That was, like, my first like, introduction to Crazy One. It was game over after that.
Mine was when I saw Cell's tail eat Android 18. That was like an awakening.
I think, yeah.
We were all like, didn't expect this to be my first boner. Everyone in that room.
I don't know.
Anyway, we'll catch you guys next time. My camera's got 1 minute.